Welcome to Never Stop Building. I'm Jason, and behind me here is this beautiful dairy farm that I'll be setting up temporary shop here in Missouri. And why am I in Missouri? That is the subject of this video because I've gotten a lot of questions like, what are you doing in Missouri? I thought you were moving to Maine. Are you still moving to Maine? What happened to Maine? What about your house in Maine? Why Missouri? Why'd you pick Missouri? What are you doing in Missouri? Well, I am still moving to Maine, and that is why I want to make this video so I can explain a little bit about what I'm doing here and how the circumstances arrived at being in Missouri. So about 2-ish years ago now, I got a call from my now client who was asking me if I could do some tokonoma work in his new apartment build out. For those of you who don't know, tokonoma is the traditional Japanese receiving room, sort of the nicest room in the house. There's an alcove for displaying auspicious or seasonally appropriate items, and it has usually a raised tatami floor. You would welcome your guests to this room. And in the apartment that he's building out, he wanted me to make a room like that. Well, we got to talking and we started going through the work, and the project expanded to building out all the woodwork in the apartment. So a tokonoma room, a kitchen island, a large waterfall, entry cabinet, a desk. And then as the months rolled on and we were planning and stuff, we added more scope, and that is the sushi counter that is finished, that we recently installed here in Missouri. So I've been to Missouri a couple times already over the past several months, finishing up some of that work. And this project has, between the lockdowns and material shortages and, a million other things that go into renovating a building, it's taken until now for us to finally start our part of the project. And, I'm also at fault for that, for my own delays. But here we are, and basically it became time to leave Colorado because the shop that we were in was getting closed down and turned into apartments, and I finished up a barn project. And so instead of maintaining a shop in Colorado or moving all the way to Maine first and trying to do this project there while living in an old house, we came to the agreement that I would set up a temporary shop on this dairy farm in one of the buildings, do all the woodworking project, pack up again, and then move to Maine. So that is why I'm in Missouri and not Maine. But yes, we're still going to Maine. This is the last major project from sort of my say yes to everything adventure when I got started in Boulder. This is definitely going to be like the magnum opus, I guess you could say. Hopefully not forever, but there's a great amount of woodwork in the project, which I will explain shortly. So why don't we take a little tour of the property that I'm temporarily staying at, and I'll also show you the place I'm living, and then we'll talk a little bit about the building where I'm working. Let's do it. All right, so this is the house I'm living in. We'll take a deeper dive into that in a minute. So this whole property belongs to the general contractor on this big mixed-use apartment restaurant build out, and he and his wife and family are developing this into a pretty cool spot. They got a lot of different things going on. They got RV storage, and they're going to put a field hockey ring and some self-storage and some venue space, and it's a massive place. These barns are just unfathomably big. I mean, to get this much land and space is amazing. It's getting me excited for the project in Maine. This building you see here is the big, that'll be where the field hockey ring is, I suppose. And this one here is the old milking parlor, which is fairly creepy. It's probably good for a set of like a Saw movie. It's also massive. The view here betrays how huge this is inside. When you go inside, it's dark and there's weird shapes, and it's just a very scary place. All right, you can see the Pelican, that big international truck, and here is the temporary shop, which is a fairly large building in and of itself. And we'll be excited to build that out. I'll show you the inside in a minute. There's a couple other outbuildings that I have not explored yet, but over here is something that might become a future project. I've already begun a discussion on possibly acquiring this dump truck for use in Maine. We'll see how that goes. It is an international, so I have a thing for international. Well, let's head back to the shop here and I'll show you the inside of it. All right, here is the shop building that we're gonna be setting up temporary shop in. I have that generator for some three-phase equipment, and it's a great space. It needs a lot of cleaning though, but it'll be pretty awesome. All right, let me open up this door. All right, here is gonna be the temporary shop space. This is some old cow dairy barn thing. The ceiling is pretty dirty and the floor is pretty dirty. So then the next big project here is gonna be completely clearing this place out, power washing everything, and getting it super tidy so that when we bring in our tools, we can do good work. Before you eat, you gotta set the table. I'll have more to say on this when I do the video of the shop cleanup, and that'll be pretty fun. Well, why don't we go take a look at the house? Okay, so my temporary living arrangement here in Missouri is this cute little old farmhouse. And since my wife and child are in Connecticut, I have turned it into an absolute bachelor cave zone. All right, so you enter right into the kitchen. Got some plants, basic living room, my command center. A little kitchen action, and then bedroom. I did not make my bed, I'm sorry. And a little bathroom. And of course we have my cat Darwin. So yeah, I mean, I'm here to sleep and plan this project. So that's where I'm living. So why don't we talk about actually what I'm doing here? All right, we are looking down on the building that is now known as Scout Hall on Broadway Street in Cape Girardeau. Now this building began its life, I think in the 30s, as a department store. My client's family acquired it for use as an upholstery and furniture shop, and it went through various iterations. And now they own a media company and developed a newsletter called The Scout to inform the community about events and things like that. And this awesome building is now being reborn as a mixed-use destination. So the back here you can see that's going to be a concert event space. And then above the retail space on the first floor, you'll have several apartments that people can live there. And one of the apartments is sort of the owner's suite for my client, and we are going to be doing a ton of high-end traditional woodwork. And that's going to include, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this tokonoma space. When you walk in, there's going to be this big console with a massive Douglas fir waterfall style top and massive kitchen island slab with, I think it's like a 400-year-old piece of Douglas fir. There you can see that's the entrance to the sushi restaurant. So we did the countertop for that. Anyway, so big kitchen island, old piece of Douglas fir. All this is going to be frame and panel, mortise and tenon out of Port Orford cedar. Everything's going to be hand planed or super surfaced. It's going to smell amazing. We got some cool plans for the tokonoma room, some wall cabinets. There's just a bunch of details here. And it's going to be quite a fun space to build out. And I've already had a good time visiting this building and checking out the restaurants. And it's going to even be more fun when there are concerts and things like that going on. So that's what I'll be working on over the next couple months. The last major project before we head to Maine and start that new adventure.